Hi guys, this is Maggie, and I am the admin for the group on Facebook for MySewNet, Creativate, Premiere, or True Embroidery software. Some of you with 6D may find some of these things still work for you as well. And people come into the group and we help them learn how to use the software and answer their questions. Today's quick video, I want to keep this one short so it's not going to cover everything, is just how to load a picture or an image into the Cross Stitcher program so that it will auto digitize for you. Sometimes auto digitizing, to say it sucks. Sometimes it falls short of your expectations. But with the Cross Stitcher module, the auto digitizing is really something that you would want to stitch and you could be proud of. And I can give you a few editing hints on how to fix these things up. So first, this is the Facebook group. We are the software users group. We don't cover everything Creativate. We don't touch the cutter and other aspects of that. We are also not the company. We're a user group, so we can't help you with login, your pricing concerns, and all that sort of thing. We can answer your questions on how to use the program. And I wasn't supposed to show you that. There we go. Now, as far as the program itself, the Cross Stitcher module, you'll find in your applications, and it's gold, its icon, and it has 4 crosses so that you can see how to open the program. And this is a photograph that I loaded of one of my kitties, and you'll see it's actually a pretty good stitch out. It is large, it's 200 millimeters wide, and so it does have quite a few stitches. And you can look at the preview and you can see it's nice and dark. Part of it is I went into design properties and I changed it to 6 threads. If we had it at the 2 threads, again, design properties, and we looked at a picture, you'll see it's much lighter. So how many threads the machine makes each cross with will make a denser picture and it will stand out a little bit more. So we want to close this, and I wanted to show you how to start a new program. So when you open your program, Quick Cross Design is the auto digitizer. It's got the word quick, so it's going to be auto. In the group, we have been using the load picture, and that's where you get a background you can draw on top of with the machine stitches, with the crosses. And a lot of people get confused, and you do not load a picture to get an auto digitizing. You use the Quick Cross Design. Hit continue. Select a file. And let's see, did I put the Loki one on the desktop so you can see how that works? No, it's in the Mac and it's 401. There we go. So if we take the picture of my kitty, you'll see it's a nice clear picture with sharp lines. You don't want anything blurry. And you crop it. I mean, there's no reason to have your machine stitching forever to stitch background beige. So when you get it cropped to where you like, you click continue. And the larger you make your image, the more detail that's going to come through. And the smaller, the less detail. And you know, if you're not an artist, you just have to take my word that in a very small picture, you can't have a lot of detail because the lines all blur together and they don't accomplish what they're supposed to. I always start everything off at a 2 millimeter cross. I might change it to fit a hoop size later, or if I want a bigger picture, but just for kind of rolling into the program, I use the cross width and height more than the hoop, and I use a 2 millimeter cross length. Now this is 120, so it's going to be 240, so I can take it up a bit, but I think he comes in good as he is. Let's give it a go just here. And it looks like it's still going to capture quite a bit of detail. I only have 10 colors, which is wonderful. And I can click done. And you see, this is a very good starting picture. Now, if I wanted to edit it, I would pull the picture up, and I'll show you that with a different example. And I would start comparing some of this area to the photo. Like maybe I don't like that dark green down here, and I want to make crosses. I could have done it from the other screen, but I like using this one better. And I just want to kind of zoom in a little bit and take some of this green looking stuff off. Now we'll get rid of some of the shading, but as I said, if I had the picture open and I was watching it, I could match better, and I'm going to show you that on a Santa example I have. But this one, if we came in, I'll show it to you again. Let's delete this. We're going to do a new one. Quick cross, select file. That was 0401, 0401. Oops. I have a bunch of 0401, so let's go back to calling it Loki. And we go here. We're gonna, I'm working a trackpad. It's sticking a little bit here, which when I try to show you examples, it's going to be a little bit interesting. Now, before we left it about where it was, if I take it up, let's say I go to 140, it's going to be a bigger picture, and you have to hit enter so it applies before you hit continue. And then I hit continue. It's still 10 colors, which is nice. But you'll see this is a little bit better, and the eyes are a little bit better. When it went up a size, it was able to get me more detail. But it also is going to be a bigger design depending on what kind of hoops you own to stitch these things out in, and it will have more stitches. But this is how you load a photo, and the crosses were how you just kind of click through and see. Now I wanted to show you some other photos. This is a Rebecca that is another photograph from my garden, and here it looks great, but when you click on preview, you can see it still looks okay, kind of like those flat, nice pictures. And same thing, here is something from my California poppies, and this one I could fix by making more of this deep red color, but it's kind of bland. I had started stitching it out, and it's very stitch intensive because it's got the background plus this. Cross stitch does not have to be stitch intensive, but any photo stitch is going to be stitch intensive. You're going to have a lot of stitches. But it was so flat looking that I ended up throwing the sample out on that one. And this one, it's kind of okay. There it is in the photo. And this one, I'd started adding more of the darker colors in some places, and I need to go around and add more to see if it would be something that I would actually like. And I add that darker color. Don't need to zoom in that much. You can see we can zoom in as close as we want. but you can click on the darker color and start adding it all around to see if it can give you something that's got enough oomph to it that, you know, it's, let me see, this is a little sharper now. It pops a little more. There's a little bit of more contrast. The more contrast, if you're sticking with only crosses, some dark and light contrast really helps your picture pop. Okay, the other thing I wanted to show you, well, there's me. And this this thing was, if you want, say I could click the white and it shows you all the white, I could get rid of more of, you know, the wrinkles. I could make myself look 20 if I wanted to, because it's just very easy to change them. I left some in because I'm not pretending to be a whole lot younger than I am, and I'm going to click undo, which on a Mac is Command Z, and put them all back. But this is the photo I it turned into a monochrome and then added it into the program, and this is what you see as my YouTube photo. And this is what I wanted to show you now with the flowers. The thing with some images, like I said, the pets kind of come in great, but my flower pictures I find need backstitch. You can see these gray lines and this little orange-like line. It adds so much more. See how it just pops, and it's just going to make, for me, a more attractive stitch out. So there's that. And now the other thing that I wanted to show you, I'm trying to do this very quickly because I just want people to know that they can kind of jump in and load a picture and get something. So this, we're going to do the Vintage Santa. This picture is from the Graphics Fairy, and it's one of her copyright-free images she offers, and I'll put a link to her website in my Facebook group when I post the video there. And it's cropping pretty well. And what I find is you get a lot of mess in here at the smaller size. Now, if I take it up, probably way too big, but to get the image, you can see, because since the cross size is 2 millimeter, if I have 200 2mm crosses, that's going to be a 400 millimeter design. So, okay, so maybe we should go for 180 so you can fit it in some of the hoops. And let's see, does that clears it up. See how you can see the eyes so much better? And I could probably bring it up to 200 because it will become even clearer there. And if I change my cross size, whoop, that's going up. There we go. So like a 1.8. Let's see what hoop that's going to fit in. Okay, this one comes out with 26 threads. That might be more detail than you feel like dealing with. So you could say, what does it look like with 20 threads, and apply it. Not too different. You can hit continue. You can also choose your thread brand there. And let's just see what we have. Now remember, if the colors don't come in great, you are the person who chooses which threads to use. And I think the very largest hoop the company now makes would fit this. I'm not sure because I didn't do as a hoop for this one. But again, we can do it and you can always change it. Now this comes in pretty good. And some of the fast things you can do, like maybe you don't like that skin tone, and let's see, where is that coming from? Is that this brown? No, that brown. Yeah, we don't want him to have a brown face. Flesh is pretty light. Maybe we could do a medium dark ecru. Let's see how that looks. and that immediately lightens up that portion. So you can edit by choosing different colors as well as kind of zooming in. Come on, get in there. Oops, I zoomed out again. As I said, it's warm here and my little trackpad is sticking a little bit. You can zoom in and work on the crosses. Like I say, the eye is going to need some work over here. Maybe it could be the same as the other one. It looks like they didn't use bright whites. They might have used a cream. See how mine's much whiter, so maybe I want to use that cream color over there. And what I recommend you do, didn't I? Oh, I didn't keep him open. I thought I did. Let's see. What you want to do when you're editing is have the picture handy, and you can easily go back and forth while you fix it. You can zoom in on certain areas. And again, the photos come out great, but some of these graphics images, your colors are going to come in a little off or might come in a little off, and you can change the threads. Maybe you don't like this greenish color for the beard and you can make that a gray. You can fix the detail around the eyes. You can change the cheeks to not be red and to be pink. Let's see. If we go into the thread chart, let me zoom back out. You can say which ones are the green. And when I touch the thread, you'll see what lights up as yellow in here is what that thread is. And I'm trying to find some of those greens. These are just little light specks. That's not too bad. But here we go with the ones that are really green. And I would much rather those be gray. So this, if I wanted to lighten him up a little bit, I might choose to just start doing some much lighter grays to just have him have a lighter look. And I can change them again if I don't like what I'm seeing. Okay, I did the really light one. Let's see how that looks. Get the green out of there. And you'll see this is starting to look different. And his face also we want not to be quite as brown. Which colors? His skin, I can just go down. That's just highlights. Ah, there we go. So that's the one that's came in much too brown. I like the ecru's in the flesh. Can try even lighter here. And you'll see that totally changed the look here, and then I can change the cheeks to be more pink if I find the right red. That's the wrong red. Yep, that's that one. Although it's in two places, so probably for this I wouldn't change the thread color. I would just find a lighter pink or add one. You can add colors, and what would I like his cheeks to be? Do I want them to be more fruit shake or more pink? You can do pink, and sometimes I find the peach colors like spice also work if it's like not a female, but I think I want to try really lightening this up. So let's see what fruit shake looks like. I'm going to zoom in. It's just easier for me to work on crosses when I've zoomed. And this is usually a pretty easy program to, as I said, this right now we're doing some stuff with my Mac and it's sticking. Make sure I get the right color. Bing! That color. I want crosses. I'm just gonna kind of drag my mouse through some of these and let them change. Get the really red stuff off here. You can click them individually or you can drag. I don't really like the red up by the eye either. And let's see. That's way out, but you can see when it's way out, if you're across the room, it's going to look gorgeous. But also that cheek looks a lot better now. And again, I would, to fix the eye, I would go back and forth and look at what's here. I mean, this obviously has too much black under the eye, and it could just be all skin tone. It wouldn't have to have even any of the shading. Truthfully, could go back to use this like a little cover-up. Pretend you have a cover-up stick for him, and you're just putting lighter colors under his eyes. I mean, you don't want to take the eyes away. You want to make sure you leave eyes in there. And there you go. See, that took a lot of the dark color off. You can always check. I like preview to get a better idea of how it's going to look as a stitch out. And you can see how much better that looks, and the green is out of the beard. So I wanted to show you that this is very easy to edit after you've loaded an image. If you use Photo Stitch, you'll find it's much more difficult to make edits to that program. It's a wonderful program, don't get me wrong. But Cross Stitcher is so much simpler that I really encourage you to find some photos or find some images you like and just toss them up there and see if you like where it's starting to take you for an embroidery design. If you have any questions at all, pop into the Facebook group, show us a picture of what you're working on, and ask us for help. Meanwhile, I'll be cleaning this guy up more. So that's it for today. We'll see you in Facebook. Bye-bye.